there is a field around you right now that nothing unwanted can cross without your permission. Not a metaphor, not a spiritual concept borrowed from ancient tradition and left unexamined. A measurable, electromagnetic, quantum coherent field generated by your own heart, your own nervous system, your own living biology, extending several feet beyond the boundary of your skin in every direction. And when that field reaches a specific threshold of coherence, something extraordinary happens at the quantum level. The things that were meant to drain you, diminish you, destabilize you, they stop reaching you. They arrive at the edge of your field, and they cannot complete the crossing. This is what untouchable actually means. Not invulnerable in the brittle sense of armor that has to be maintained by force. Untouchable in the sense of a frequency so clear, so coherent, so precisely itself, that disruption cannot find a matching signal inside it to latch onto. When there is nothing in your field for chaos to resonate with, chaos moves around you. When there is nothing in your broadcast for depletion to recognize, depletion finds no door. You have probably felt this before without having language for it. A day when nothing seemed to stick to you. When someone who usually pulls you into their orbit tried and simply couldn't. When you walked into a situation that should have rattled you and found yourself standing in a kind of interior stillness that surprised even you. That was not luck. That was not mood. That was your field at a specific level of coherence that made you, in the most literal electromagnetic sense of the word, untouchable. Today, we are going to go all the way into what that means. We are going to look at the precise mechanics of what your field is doing when it reaches that state. Why the quantum halo is not poetic language, but an accurate description of a measurable phenomenon. What causes your field to reach coherence, and what causes it to collapse back into vulnerability, and how to understand the difference between the protection that comes from armoring yourself against the world and the protection that comes from becoming so fully yourself that incoherence cannot find a foothold. Because here is what most people never learn about protection. The kind that comes from tension, from vigilance, from keeping your guard up. That kind costs you. It costs you energy. It costs you openness. It costs you the very frequency that makes your field powerful. And the kind of protection that comes from coherence, from being fully, clearly, consciously yourself at the level of your electromagnetic signal, that kind does not cost you anything. It is a byproduct of your own luminosity. It is what happens when you stop dimming. Your quantum halo is not something you build. It is something you reveal, and the universe has been waiting for you to see it. Let's begin with what your field actually is, because this is the foundation everything else rests on, and it needs to be understood precisely before we can talk about what happens when it becomes untouchable. Your heart is not simply a pump. The medical model has been catching up to something that energy researchers began measuring decades ago, which is that your heart is the most powerful electromagnetic generator in your body, not the brain. The heart. The electrical field generated by your heart is approximately 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical field generated by your brain. The magnetic field of the heart is measurable several feet from the body in every direction. This is not theoretical. The HeartMath Institute has been measuring this field since the early 1990s, using magnetometers sensitive enough to detect it at distances ranging from 3 to 8 feet from the body, and in some individuals, considerably farther. This field is not static. It is constantly broadcasting. Every beat of your heart sends an electromagnetic pulse outward into the space around you. And that pulse carries information. Specifically, it carries the pattern of your heart's rhythm, which is itself a direct reflection of your emotional and neurological state. When you are in a state of fear, anxiety, anger, or chronic stress, your heart rate variability, the natural variation in the time between heartbeats, becomes irregular. The electromagnetic pulse your heart sends outward carries that irregularity encoded in its waveform. When you are in a state of appreciation, love, calm, or what researchers call coherence, your heart rate variability becomes smooth and ordered. The electromagnetic pulse your heart sends outward carries that order. This is the signal. This is what your field is broadcasting to everyone and everything in your environment, including the quantum field itself. Now here is where we need to talk about what the quantum field actually is, because this word gets used loosely, and it deserves precision. At the subatomic level, particles do not exist in fixed states until they are observed or interact with other particles. They exist in superposition, meaning in multiple possible states simultaneously. The act of interaction, of resonance, of one field meeting another, is what collapses those possibilities into specific outcomes. The quantum field is the underlying field of probability from which specific physical events emerge. It is not a mystical realm separate from ordinary reality. It is the substrate of ordinary reality. Everything that happens at the visible, tangible scale of your daily life has its roots in quantum-level interactions between fields. When your heart generates a coherent electromagnetic field, that field is interacting with this substrate. It is not sending a message to some distant cosmic intelligence. It is directly influencing the probability landscape of the quantum field in your immediate environment. Coherent fields bias the quantum probability toward outcomes that match their frequency. This is resonance operating at the most fundamental level of physical reality. This is what your quantum halo is. It is your heart's coherent electromagnetic field operating as a probability-shaping instrument in the quantum substrate of your immediate reality. And when it reaches a specific threshold of coherence, it becomes, in the most precise sense of the term, untouchable. Not because it has become impenetrable, but because the things that would disturb it cannot find a resonant frequency inside it to amplify. Before we go further into the mechanics, I want to pause here and make something concrete for you. Because the phrase coherence threshold is doing a lot of work, and it deserves more than a passing mention. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute developed a metric called the coherence ratio, which is derived from the power spectral density of heart rate variability data. In plain terms, they looked at how much of your heart's rhythmic variation was concentrated in the low frequency band around 0.1 hertz, which is the specific frequency associated with the synchronized oscillation of your cardiovascular, respiratory, and nervous systems working together as a unified whole. When that synchronization is high, your coherence ratio is high. When your systems are fighting each other, when your breathing is shallow and your stress hormones are elevated and your attention is scattered across half a dozen anxieties, your coherence ratio drops. What is significant for our purposes is what happens at the high end of that ratio. When coherence is sustained above a certain threshold, the effects on the body are not just psychological. Immune markers improve. Inflammatory cytokine levels drop. Cortisol and DHEA, which is a hormone associated with vitality and resilience, come into a more favorable balance. The nervous system shifts from sympathetic dominance, the fight or flight state, toward parasympathetic activation, the state in which your body repairs, integrates, and regenerates. and the electromagnetic field your heart is broadcasting becomes more ordered, more powerful in its amplitude, and more capable of the entrainment effects we are going to talk about in depth. This is the threshold we mean when we say your field becomes untouchable. It is not a spiritual threshold. It is a physiological one, and it has a measurable signature. The extraordinary thing is that reaching it does not require extraordinary circumstances. It requires a specific quality of inner state, and that quality is something you can cultivate deliberately. If this is landing for you, here is something I want to offer you to take this deeper. Have you spent years trying to feel lit up again? Visualizations, affirmations, vibration work, and the light still won't hold? Every one of those methods is telling you to push harder, do more, add another technique. It's not working because the issue isn't that you don't have enough light. 6 specific patterns are sitting on top of it. They're called the frequencies of forgetting. The remembering field, a quantum guide to returning to the light. You forgot you were carrying walks through all 5 parts of getting those patterns off you. Every tool you used tried to add more light. This one lifts what's been sitting on the light you already carry. The longer you wait, the harder they get to clear. So go open it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now, back to the mechanics of what makes your field truly untouchable. Let me explain exactly what that means, because this is the mechanism most people never hear about. Electromagnetic fields interact through resonance. When 2 fields of similar frequency encounter each other, they amplify. When 2 fields of dissimilar frequency encounter each other, they interfere. Interference can be constructive, meaning the fields add together, or destructive, meaning they cancel each other out. In the context of your personal energy field, this means that what reaches you, what actually gets through to affect your nervous system, your emotional state, your decision-making, your sense of reality, is determined by whether it finds a resonant frequency in your own field. A chaotic, incoherent field, one generated by someone who is broadcasting fear, manipulation, aggression, or depletion, can only affect your field if your field contains a matching frequency for it to latch onto. If your field is broadcasting at a high coherence frequency, a frequency of clarity, presence, and self-possession, then the incoming chaotic signal finds no resonant partner inside your field. It does not amplify. It does not penetrate. It encounters your field, fails to find a match, and moves around you. This is not immunity in the sense of being untouched by life. You can still perceive what is happening around you. You can still feel the weight of difficult situations. You can still be moved by what is real. but you are not destabilized by it. You are not pulled into resonance with it. You remain yourself, broadcasting your own signal, while the chaos resolves itself at your field's edge. That is the quantum halo. That is the untouchable state. And the universe has not randomly assigned this state to some people and withheld it from others. It is available to every person who can reach and sustain a coherent field. The question is always, what is preventing coherence? Because the default state of your field, the state it naturally reaches when nothing is suppressing it, is coherence. You are not trying to achieve something foreign to your nature. You are removing what has been imposed on it. If this is resonating with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe so we can keep going deeper into this work together. Now let me show you something about your field that most people never examine, which is what happens to your coherence in the specific moments before you walk into something difficult. There is a phenomenon that heart math researchers call field entrainment. When two people are in physical proximity, their electromagnetic fields are interacting. The more powerful field, the one with greater coherence and amplitude, tends to entrain the weaker field toward its own frequency. This happens without words, without eye contact, without any deliberate intention. It is a direct field-to-field interaction, and it is measurable. What this means for you is that you are not neutral when you walk into a room. You are not a blank slate waiting to be affected by whatever energy is present. You are broadcasting. Your field is already interacting with the fields in that room before you cross the threshold. And the question is not whether you will affect the environment. The question is whether your field is coherent enough to entrain the room toward your frequency, or incoherent enough to be entrained by the room's frequency. This is why some people walk into a tense situation, and the tension eases, not because they said the right thing or performed the right behavior, but because their field, broadcasting at high coherence, began entraining the fields around them before a single word was spoken. And this is why other people walk into the same tense situation and somehow make it more tense, not through anything they do, but through the incoherent signal their own field is broadcasting, which amplifies the existing incoherence in the room. You have been on both sides of this. You know what it feels like to walk into a room and feel the energy shift toward you. Feel people settle. Feel the quality of the space change. And you know what it feels like to walk into a room already braced, already contracted, already broadcasting the frequency of someone who is not sure they are safe, and feel the room's difficulty amplify around you. The difference between those two experiences is not circumstance. It is the coherence of your field in the moment you cross the threshold. Here is what your field is doing in the 60 seconds before you walk into something you are dreading. And this is specific because it matters enormously. When you anticipate a difficult situation, your nervous system begins preparing for it. This is biological. It is not a failure of mind or spirit. Your heart rate variability begins to shift. Your cortisol begins to rise. Your electromagnetic field begins to carry the frequency of the anticipated difficulty before you have even arrived. And here is the part that changes everything when you understand it. The quantum field in the environment you are about to enter is already receiving your signal. You are pre-broadcasting the frequency of your fear or your contraction, and that broadcast is shaping the probability landscape of the room before you enter it. This is why walking in braced tends to confirm the thing you were braced for, not because your premonition was accurate, but because your pre-broadcast helped assemble the outcome it was anticipating. The quantum field responds to your signal. It does not evaluate whether your signal is based on accurate information. It responds to the frequency you are actually broadcasting. A conscious broadcaster understands this. A conscious broadcaster, someone who has learned to work with their own field deliberately, knows that the 60 seconds before they cross a difficult threshold are among the most important 60 seconds of their day. Not for rehearsing what to say, not for steeling themselves, for bringing their field into coherence before they arrive, so that what they bring into the room is a signal of clarity and self-possession. And the quantum field begins assembling around that signal instead. This is a practice, and we will come to it in depth. But first, let me tell you about Mara. Mara had spent most of her adult life being what she called resilient. She had learned early that the world was unpredictable and sometimes harsh. And she had developed a very specific strategy for surviving it, which was to make herself small enough not to be targeted. She kept her opinions measured. She kept her enthusiasm private. She kept her light, as she understood it, turned down to a level that felt safe. She was pleasant. She was functional. She was, by most external measures, fine. But she was exhausted in a way she could not explain, because the energy required to keep herself dimmed was enormous, and she had been spending it for so long, she had forgotten it was a cost. The thing about Mara's strategy was that it had never actually worked. She had made herself small, but the difficult things had kept finding her anyway. The draining relationships, the situations that seemed to pull the ground out from under her, the sense that she was somehow always in the path of disruption, even though she had done everything she could think of to avoid it. She had interpreted this as evidence that the world was simply like this, that some people were built for difficulty, and she was one of them. What Mara did not know was that her dimmed field was not protecting her. It was attracting the very thing she was trying to avoid. Here is why. When your field is contracted, when you are broadcasting at a low coherence frequency, because you are spending your energy on self-suppression, your electromagnetic signal carries the frequency of that suppression. And that frequency, at the quantum level, is indistinguishable from the frequency of someone who expects to be diminished. The quantum field does not know that you are trying to protect yourself by making yourself small. It reads your signal as it is, not as you intend it. And the signal of contraction resonates with the signal of incoming contraction. What you are trying to keep away finds resonance in the very strategy you are using to keep it away. Mara encountered this understanding not as a spiritual teaching, but as a physical experience. She was in a situation that had become genuinely unbearable. A professional environment where one particular person seemed to have an inexplicable ability to unsettle her, to find the exact frequency of her self-doubt and amplify it. She had tried every strategy she knew. She had been more careful. She had been more prepared. She had been more measured. Nothing worked. This person's energy found her every time. And then one morning, for reasons she could not entirely explain, she stopped preparing. She stopped bracing. She stopped running the internal rehearsal of how to survive the encounter. She was tired, and she was done. And she walked into the building that morning without her armor, which meant she also walked in without her contraction. She was simply herself, undefended, present, her field broadcasting nothing more complicated than her own actual frequency. The encounter happened. The person said something that on any other day would have found the familiar wound. And Mara noticed, with a kind of quiet astonishment, that it didn't land. Not because she had become harder, because she had become clearer. The signal the other person sent out reached her field and found no matching frequency to amplify. She was not contracted around a wound. She was simply present, broadcasting her own coherent signal, and the disruption moved around her like water around a stone. She did not become invulnerable that day. She became untouchable in the specific sense we are talking about. The things that had always found her stopped finding her, not because she had built a better defense, but because she had stopped broadcasting the frequency that was calling them in. This is the paradox of the quantum halo. The protection it offers is not the protection of armor. It is the protection of coherence. And coherence is not a defense posture. It is the natural state of a field that is fully, clearly, uncompromisingly itself. You cannot become untouchable by trying harder to keep things out. You become untouchable by letting more of yourself in. What happened to Mara in that building has a precise physiological name. Researchers call it a spontaneous coherence shift, a moment when the accumulated pressure of sustained self-suppression reaches a breaking point, and the nervous system, exhausted from the effort of maintaining the contracted state, simply releases it. The heart rate variability pattern changes within seconds. The electromagnetic field reorganizes around the new, unconstricted signal. And the person who walks through the door is, in the measurable sense, broadcasting at a fundamentally different frequency than the one who had been bracing for weeks. What is remarkable about Mara's experience is that she did not choose coherence. She fell into it through exhaustion. But the mechanics operated identically to deliberate coherence practice. The field did not care whether the shift was intentional or accidental. It responded to the actual frequency being broadcast. This tells us something important. The quantum halo is not reserved for people who have mastered a practice. It is available in any moment when the self-suppression lifts, whether through intention, through exhaustion, or through the simple grace of a morning when you forget to be afraid. The practice is what allows you to reach that state without waiting for exhaustion to force it. Have you ever had a moment like Mara's? A day when you stopped bracing and something that usually found you simply didn't? I would love to hear about it in the comments. When did you first notice your own field shifting? When did you feel your energy change the quality of a room? Or feel yourself standing in a stillness that surprised you? Share what you experienced. Now let me take you into the practice, because this is where the understanding becomes something you can actually use in your body, in your field, in the living reality of your day. This practice is called the threshold coherence reset, and it is specifically designed for the moment before you enter something difficult. The 60 seconds we talked about. The pre-broadcast window. This is where the quantum halo becomes a conscious instrument rather than an unconscious one. Find a moment of stillness. If you are listening to this right now, you can practice this as we go through it together, or you can receive it now and bring it to the next threshold you face. Either way, the practice is the same. Bring your attention to your heart center, the physical location in the center of your chest, not as a metaphor, as a physical location. Place your awareness there, and if it feels right, place your hand there as well. The physical contact between your hand and your chest has a measurable effect on your heart rate. Variability. It is not symbolic. It is a direct physiological intervention. Now breathe, but not a deep breath in the sense of forcing air. A slowed breath. Breathe in for a count of 5 and breathe out for a count of 5. The specific rhythm of 5 counts in and 5 counts out, which researchers call heart coherence. Breathing, or resonance frequency breathing, has been shown to synchronize your heart rate variability into a coherent wave pattern within 90 seconds of beginning. This is not a relaxation technique, though it does produce calm. It is a field tuning technique. You are bringing your electromagnetic broadcast into a coherent waveform. The reason this specific rhythm works is not arbitrary. At approximately 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, your breathing rate lands at around 6 breaths per minute. That rate happens to synchronize with the natural oscillation frequency of your baroreflex, the feedback loop your body uses to regulate blood pressure. When your breathing entrains to that frequency, your heart rate begins to oscillate in synchrony with it. And that synchrony is precisely what produces the coherent waveform in your heart rate variability data. You are not imagining a state. You are creating a measurable physiological condition. And that condition changes what your heart broadcasts outward. As you breathe this rhythm, bring to mind a single moment of genuine appreciation. Not a concept, a specific moment. The quality of light through a window at a particular time of day. The feeling of a specific person's presence. A moment when something worked out in a way that surprised you with its rightness. The specificity matters because your heart responds to the felt quality of the experience, not to the idea of it. You are not thinking about appreciation. You are feeling it, even briefly, even lightly. That feeling is the signal. That signal is what your heart begins to broadcast. Hold this for 30 seconds. 60 is better. In this window, your heart rate variability is shifting into coherence. Your electromagnetic field is changing its waveform. The signal you are broadcasting is no longer the anticipation of difficulty. It is the frequency of appreciation and self-possession. Now, before you cross the threshold, before you walk into the room or the conversation or the situation you were dreading, make a single interior declaration. Not a hope, not a request, a declaration. Something like, my field is coherent. I bring my own signal. What is mine reaches me in, and what is not mine moves around me. The words are less important than the quality of certainty behind them. You are not asking for protection. You are stating the condition of your field. This is a conscious broadcast, and it changes what the quantum field receives from you before you arrive. Then walk in. You will notice something. The situation may be exactly as difficult as you anticipated. The other person may say exactly what you feared they would say. The environment may be exactly as charged as you expected. But you will be standing in a different relationship to it. Not because the external reality has changed, because your field arrived before you did, broadcasting coherence, and the quantum probability landscape has already begun assembling around your signal, rather than the one you were broadcasting when you were braced. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is field mechanics operating exactly as they are designed to operate. Your coherent field entrains the space around it. Your clear signal shapes the probability toward outcomes that match your frequency. And the things that cannot find a resonant partner in your coherent field cannot complete their crossing. That is the quantum halo in practice. Now let me take you deeper into the mechanics, because there is a layer of this that most people never reach. And it is the layer that explains something you have probably wondered about for a long time. Why do some people seem to be naturally untouchable? You have met them. The person who moves through difficulty without being marked by it. The one who can sit in a room full of tension and remain somehow clean. The one who has been through genuinely hard things and emerged not hardened, but more luminous. What are they doing that others are not? The answer is not that they have better circumstances or stronger character in the moral sense, or some innate spiritual gift that was distributed unevenly. The answer is that their field has reached what researchers call sustained coherence, which is different from momentary coherence in a way that matters enormously. Momentary coherence is what you achieve in the threshold reset practice. You bring your field into coherence for a specific window of time through deliberate attention and breath. This is powerful, and it works. But sustained coherence is something different. It is a baseline condition of your field, the frequency at which your heart broadcasts when you are not doing anything in particular, when you are just living, moving through your day, being yourself without any special effort. Sustained coherence is built over time through repeated returns to coherence. Every time you bring your field back to a coherent state, you are training your heart's electromagnetic pattern. The heart, like any biological system, responds to repeated input by building structural capacity for it. The more often your heart has been in coherence, the more easily and quickly it returns to coherence when disturbed. Researchers have documented this as an increase in baseline heart rate variability, which is one of the most reliable markers of both physical health and psychological resilience that exists in the scientific literature. But there is something else that builds sustained coherence that is less about practice and more about identity. And this is the part that connects directly to the quantum halo. Sustained coherence is also built by resolving the internal contradictions that force your field to broadcast at cross purposes with itself. Here is what I mean. Your heart's electromagnetic field broadcasts the actual state of your nervous system, not the state you want to be in, not the state you present to the world, but the state you are actually in. When you are carrying a belief that you are not safe, that field carries that frequency even when you are smiling. When you are carrying a conviction that you are not enough, that field broadcasts that frequency even when you are performing confidence. When you are holding a story about yourself that is smaller than what you actually are, your field broadcasts the frequency of that smallness even as your conscious mind is trying to project something larger. This is the source of what I call field fragmentation. Your field is trying to broadcast two signals simultaneously. The signal of who you are presenting yourself as, and the signal of who you actually believe yourself to be at the level of your deepest conditioning. These two signals interfere with each other. The result is a field that is neither fully coherent nor fully incoherent, but fractured, broadcasting a kind of static that the quantum field reads as uncertainty, as internal conflict, as a signal that is not fully committed to itself. And a fractured signal is a vulnerable signal, not because anything external attacks it, but because it is already in conflict with itself. And that conflict creates the resonant openings that incoming disruption can find. The people who are naturally untouchable are not people who have no wounds. They are people whose wounds are not broadcasting. They have done the work, consciously or through accumulated life experience, of resolving the internal contradictions that fragment their field. Their deepest belief about themselves and their broadcast signal are the same thing. They are not performing a frequency. They are emitting it. This is why the path to the quantum halo is always, ultimately, a path toward authenticity. Not authenticity in the casual sense of saying whatever you think. Authenticity in the electromagnetic sense of having your actual inner state and your broadcast signal be the same thing. Of being, at the level of your field, what you are at the level of your deepest truth. When those two things align, your field stops fragmenting. It becomes a single, clear, coherent broadcast. And a single, clear, coherent broadcast is what the quantum halo is made of. Let me show you the specific mechanics of how a fragmented field becomes a coherent one. Because this is not a vague process, and it does not require you to resolve every wound you have ever carried before your field can become powerful. There is a concept in heart math research called heart-brain coherence, which is distinct from heart coherence alone. Heart coherence is the ordered, smooth pattern of your heart rate variability. Heart-brain coherence is the synchronization of your heart's electromagnetic signal with your brain's electrical activity. Specifically, the neural patterns associated with your thinking and your beliefs. When your heart and brain are in coherence with each other, meaning when what you feel and what you think are aligned, your entire nervous system operates as a unified field rather than as a collection of competing systems. Your autonomic nervous system, which governs your stress and relaxation responses, comes into balance. Your immune system functions more efficiently. Your endocrine system produces hormones consistent with well-being. And your electromagnetic field, generated by this unified system, broadcasts a signal of extraordinary clarity and power. The fragmentation I described earlier is, at the physiological level, a state of heart-brain incoherence. Your heart is feeling one thing, and your brain is thinking another. Your emotional body is broadcasting one frequency, and your cognitive mind is trying to override it with a different one. The result is